All right, we are live, and the New York Mets may have lost their game to the Washington Nationals last night. But, boys, I'm going to tell you, last night felt like a win to me. I don't know if it's just me. Actually, I know it's not just me, because I know my boy Meek Phil went on a fucking tirade on Max Scherzer getting absolutely bludgeoned by the Houston Astros, and the Meek Phil account was on absolute fire. It was a slander fest unlike any other slander fest. He's bringing up stats of Max Scherzer. He's talking about Acuna. He's fucking digging up receipts from like July when people were saying, don't you dare speak ill of Max Scherzer. And he's just showing Jose Abreu hitting fucking grand slam over and over and over again. And you know what? Are you guys bitter? Are you guys really that petty? Are you going to, not get over it? Yeah. This is what we do as Mets fans. It's September, so we just start digging up. At this point, we'd be rooting against the Yankees usually. They're irrelevant now. So what we're going to do is we're going to dance on graves. Phil, get your tap shoes on, and you have the floor, my friend.
Last night was probably, if I have to rank nights of the year that I felt happy, one, I'd probably go to Guardians walk-off. Last night's probably this number 2. Like, that was as much fun as I've had watching a baseball game because I saw this coming since we traded him. It's like, okay, cool. Oh, he's putting up this 2 ERA versus the A's, versus the Twins, versus the White Sox, teams that don't give a fuck. Oh, what happens when they face a team that's actually trying, the defending World Series champs, the team that they blew a division to? They were up 10 games when they traded for Max Scherzer. They're in 3rd fucking place right now. Oh, what's that? Max Scherzer, a team led by him, blew a division to the reigning champs? Who could have fucking seen that coming? I've never been more happy.
Oh, I love what he is. He has a little bit of life in his voice, Kyle. We've seen Phil like slowly his soul die. This is his first big, truly disappointing season in his adult life.
Yep.
And we just got a little bit of that, like, it's a different side of the force. It's the dark side of the force, basically coming out of Phil.
It's like allow it to just wash over you, and that's how you get up in the morning. You just drink the haterade and you just keep it going because you're not rooting for your own team. You got fucking Trevor Gott on the mound blowing meaningless games, and I still get pissed off about it. And I'm like, well, at least those other 2 assholes that thought that they got out of here, Verlander got out of here. But Scherzer thought he was going on. His wife told him, oh, let's go get traded. We're chasing rings. Like, you are the person, you're the anchor dragging down these teams at this point, and you love to see it when he walks out the door talking shit.
Yep, it's the Eric Andre meme where he shoots the team and is like, how could the other 24 guys on the roster do this? No, dude, you are the problem. And the official stats from last night: 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 3 home runs allowed, which, as we know all too well, including
and don't forget the most important part. He said he has an ailment that's affecting the way he pitches. His slider wasn't as sharp last night. It's weird how it only happens when he's pitching bad.
Yeah, it's funny how that always works. It's funny how we've grown accustomed to Scherzer, and I never hated him on the Nationals. I was like, I respected him because he was a motherfucker. I never had a problem with Scherzer, and all it took was like a couple of awful starts in September, coming up small in every big start this year, and then kind of just walking out the door chirping and kind of making us look like buffoons. That I was like, oh yeah, fuck this guy. And I know I'm not alone in that. I saw Mets Twitter was just dumping on him. And listen, I like Verlander, but when Verlander gave up the home run in the bottom of the inning after Scherzer gave up, the runs to start the game, it was like, yep, could have seen this coming from a mile away. Why are the 2023 Mets not in the fucking playoff race? Those were 1.5 of the reasons because of it. Kyle, on the other side of the force, how are we doing? Kyle's kind of like still our Jedi. He still has like the perfectly clean soul. I think I've been working at Barstool way too long to have a perfectly clean soul.
I think I just have a brain injury at this point that I'm still watching this team. I'm like, oh, they're up 2-0. Okay, like the Nationals suck. We blew them out game 1. It was tons of fun. You got to see all the young guys hit baseballs like 450 feet. Great fun time, and then the following day it just ripped right away from you, and you're like, this is why this team fucking sucks. And like, and that's the sick part about being a Mets fan, is that it's not just you. There are thousands of people out there still watching this shit show happen, and I'm getting text updates about Trevor Gott. And I'm like, why are you letting this affect you so much? It shouldn't be meaningful anymore. Football's on tonight. Like, we're ready. I'm sure we're going to do a preview for that. Like, let's just turn the page and move on. And for some fucking reason, it's like having that ex that you still check their page over and over again just so you can get hurt. It's like, what are you doing? So I'm happy on one side. I think that the young guys could potentially hit. On the other side, this team still fucking sucks and we're losing to the Nationals. At this point, I'm kind of just like rooting to not be in last place. That's where we're at.
Rooting not to be in last place, which again is fighting with the Nationals, trying to thread that needle. I mean, I think we're still in the race for that top 6 slot, which goes into the lottery, and you're not going to know how it all plays out anyway. But yeah, to everyone just watching every night, tip of the cap. To everyone living and dying with every pitch.
People are still checking the wild card standings. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
I mean, we got to believe it's a saying, but it's a sickness too. It's honestly like put it on someone's grave when this team kills you earlier than you should have died.
Like, if you're still looking at the wild card standings, I'll tell you what they have to do to make their 3rd wild card. Win every single game remaining. Yeah. The next time they lose, they're eliminated. Think of it that way.
Hey, and the sick thing is, if they go on like a 3-game winning streak, that's really like, here it is. Fucking Meek Phil said it, and it's about to happen.
Yeah, we'll win 24 in a row, whatever is left of the season. Like,
that would be so funny.
Yeah, it would be hilarious. But nonetheless, there is still a little bit of brightness with the team in Flushing. Ronnie Mauricio, my guy. Now we're getting the hits along with the stolen bases, maybe a web gem here or two. Boys, I'm falling in love. I'm falling in love with Ronnie. I didn't even think Ronnie. We could do some Jersey Shore kind of clip ups. I mean, that's only like 15-year-old reference basically at this point. They all have kids. They're all washed up now, just to let you know where like they are now in their point of lives. Kyle, Ronnie Mauricio, are you fucking in? I mean, come on. We can push Brett Beatty aside if Mauricio comes through. We don't have to worry about Brett Beatty anymore if Mauricio becomes the guy.
That's the thing. It's like, it's next man up no matter what. It's what have you done for me lately? And Beatty hasn't done shit. So guess what? Ronnie Mauricio skyrocketing to the top of the draft prospect list.
Yep. That's the meme. The one kid drowning, the one kid with the parent, and the one person at the bottom of the pool like a skeleton. I think Beatty's the one starting to drown. Mauricio's the one we're holding. And Vientos is the skeleton at the bottom of the pool that nobody gives a fuck about. That's how I feel about this team. And that's all I need. And if Mauricio goes in a slump, I'm then going to watch the minor league highlights and wait for those guys to come up. Last night, as Max Scherzer was getting his shit pushed in on television, our boy, is it Luis Angel? I have to get it right. Luis Angel.
Yeah, Luis Angel Acuna.
Okay, Luis Angel Acuna. 3 for 5. 2 home runs, 2 ribeyes, 3 runs, and a stolen base. So 2 sides of the force. We lived this shit probably like, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. Whenever Edwin Diaz blew a save, I'm telling you, Kelenic had at least a home run, if not like 2 home runs every single time. If Scherzer struggles, power young Luis Angel to fucking get stronger and become a better player, great, because I'm going to have to hear about P. Crow Armstrong, I know, next year, every fucking day. The Kelenic stuff obviously was a nightmare as we were going through it. Now we have our own, and if Mauricio slips, he can become the drowning kid, and then Acuna's the guy. If not him, Gilbert's the guy, the big red dog, Jet Williams, who hits a home run or steals a base every single day. Boys, yep. It's not so bad. In the words of my boy C3PO in fucking A New Hope, the damage doesn't look so bad out here, right? It doesn't look so bad now that we've lived through the worst part of the season.
I want to thank Chris Young for one, being an average pitcher with the Mets in like 2011, 2012, whatever year it was. Paying Jacob deGrom a contract to rehab Tommy John for 2 years, something that we would not have done. And taking a picture with a 4 ERA and giving us a top 50 prospect for him. So thank you, Chris Young, for helping build the Mets in 2024.
No kidding.
It's an absolute. And then thank you, Jim Crane, for demanding Justin Verlander, who, again, nothing but goodwill for Justin Verlander. But this team with Justin Verlander this season was not going to do anything. Other than the sickos who would be watching the wild card, we probably have 2 better games in the standings, and it would still just fall flat on your face by, I don't know, September 15th or so.
Yeah, if we kept these guys, we'd probably be like 3 or 4 games out the wild card. They'd have a bad game. They'd look dead in the camera and say, it's got to be better. We haven't clicked yet, but it's coming. We got to be better. And it's like 140 games into the year.
And that's what really just hurts you in the end. And I saw this tweet here, Mike555. The Mets with Max Scherzer, 471 winning percentage. The Rangers with Max Scherzer, 471 winning percentage. Phil, I have to also know this too. I saw Max Scherzer up to 3.91 ERA. Are you the one who's doing all the baseball tweets about Max Scherzer? Is that you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I just need to know like that it was just you just smiling because I'm like, oh yeah, he's going in on him right now, and I just wanted to make sure there isn't just someone else who's sewering Scherzer. I thought it was my guy Phil.
On the baseball account, Sean's the other one that runs it with me, but I told him it's like only tweet about the Braves because I don't trust myself with that, so I just get everything else.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
So,
it's a good checks and balances you guys have set
exactly.
up. So well done. And while we're talking about pitchers past their prime and on their way out, we have this big bit of due to the cookie. I guess his highlight here was last season, which, I mean, you guys have showed me the stats a million times. I still can't believe he had an ERA under 4 last season. It happened. It's just the proof that last season was absolutely magical. I guess our times talking about our favorite cookies was a lot of fun. We got to learn a lot about each other. Phil's a big macadamia nut guy. Kevin has a hatred for those cookies, which I think are delicious. Kyle, we got to learn all your favorite cookies as well. It was a good time with Cookie while it lasted. That's not true. It was absolutely terrible. And the best part of all, dropped the dumbbell on his finger. Is that the story that we're going with right now?
They called it his 5th finger, which is your pinky, I guess.
Yeah. So goodbye, Cookie taking the Metsy injury in September that everyone's going to laugh at, and it not being one of our important young guys was honestly the greatest thing he did. So we bid you adieu, Cookie. I hope we never see you again. I hope we don't have a tribute video if you come back with like the Nationals next year. That has to be the end for Cookie, right? Like you can't even give this guy an invite to spring training. He's fucking old as shit too, isn't he?
He cannot be back next year. Under any circumstances, he cannot be back. And I'm also like, pull the video footage of the weight room because I'm not against him dropping that shit on his own hand to get that insurance money because he knew he was the writing on the wall. He's like, let me just clear this out for the rest of the season. I know I'm not going to play anymore. And then I get to come in fresh the next year and be like, well, that was the excuse. I'm back and I'm ready to go.
Yeah. If you told me he pitched with a broken pinky all season, I'd believe it. Yeah. And I'd say, you know what? That's a good excuse. Yeah. But it just happened.
He'll be turning 37 next year. And I mean, again, you have so much goddamn money. Do you go back, build like fucking nice place in Venezuela, build a nice place in New York or Cleveland, wherever you enjoyed the most in the States, have multiple houses, just fucking live the life. Seemed like a great guy. And like, again, you have the name Cookie. I don't think you'd be an asshole. People wouldn't call you Cookie if you were a nice guy. So I'm just happy he's out of our life. I'm happy he took that Metsy injury. And so sit back, relax, and retire. But for those of us that did not spend the last decade pitching in the major leagues and the last few years robbing from the New York Mets, you got to be able to dream of retirement. Everyone thinks about the day that they'll eventually get to retire and enjoy all the freedom that comes with it. But who says we have to wait decades before we can kick back and chill out? So take advantage of that free will and spend the summer chilling with like a retiree and pair those moments with a Coors Light, the beer that's made to chill. When the mountains are blue, that means the beer is ready to be drank. It is nice and chill, and it'll put you in that retired state of mind, and it's perfect for all your summer plans or lack thereof. We're dealing with fall plans now. We're talking football every single Sunday. Get your Coors Light out. I've been doing it all summer. Now I'm watching the kids. I'm drinking my Coors Light, watching the kids. Not my kids. My kids are sleeping, thank God, by then. I'm watching the Mets kids absolutely rake, and we're dreaming of years future when we're drinking Coors Light at the parade in November 2nd, 2024 is when the parade will be. So this summer, chill like you're retired with Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/believe. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Next on the list, boys, we're talking about future. The future might be the present. David Stearns, article in The Athletic saying basically the Mets were able to negotiate or start talking to David Stearns starting at the August 1st trade deadline. Is that what I'm hearing, Phil? Is that correct?
Yes, and if you're connecting the dots, they cleaned house on a bunch of player development guys. Probably with Stearns telling them I want to bring my own guys in, so can tell you a bit how far along the lines they are.
In the words of Phil, those guys sucked. And I was like, Phil, how's this guy? He sucks. All right, yeah. Fuck that guy. He's out of here now. So he cleaned house again. I think they said it was after the deadline, but hey, maybe they called him up August 1st in the morning and they're like, hey, would you want to have Justin Verlander to build around next year? Or would you rather just have that slot gone and maybe some prospects, blink twice if you'd prefer Justin Verlander be in Houston, 2 blinks later, shipped to the Astros. Yeah. We get it back, a couple big prospects.
The story that's lost in the shuffle here, and I saw someone tweet about it yesterday, is that he was with the Mets organization as an intern under Omar Manaya, and Manaya went to the Wilpons and said, we need to keep this guy on. And the Wilpons turned around and said, we don't have it in the budget. And that's how he left the organization. So the fact that they punted on this guy 16 years ago when he was a kid, and Manaya, who is known for his talent evaluation and knows when he sees a good thing, tells them, and they're like, no, that should be all the stamp of approval that we need as Mets fans. It's like, the Wilpons didn't want him. He must be fucking great.
God damn it, Kyle. I didn't need to hear that. And this is what I say. This is the thing that keeps my brain at ease. Like the stuff with Steph Curry. Oh, if Steph Curry dropped to the Knicks would have the Golden State titles. No. If Steph Curry dropped to the Knicks, he would have never been able to fix his ankles because it's a bunch of idiots running that organization. And we would have been robbed of one of the greatest players we've seen in our lives play basketball and dominate. David Stearns leaving here, the fact he's able to come back with an owner that's awesome, doesn't mind shelling out, and could potentially, he's a Mets fan, he's a diehard Mets fan, and bring us to the promised land, that's almost like the best thing possible. So I want to cry about the fact we lost him, but in the end, it's almost better we did so he could actually learn baseball from other places and other smart people. Did he go to the Astros? I read that I think was an Astros guy for a while.
He was an Astros intern, I think, and then went to the Brewers.
Okay.
And he helped build the Brewers, who, before he was with the Brewers, they made the playoffs 4 times in their history. And then they made it 4 years in a row, so...
And that's the stat I'm hanging on. I'm hanging his hat on because I know KFC was a little skeptical. He's not really sure. He's like, well, the Brewers, they're kind of just like a whatever team. But the Brewers were irrelevant, and they've been relevant with him. And, sometimes when these guys leave and all the players that they've gone in cycle out, you kind of see and I think their ownership kind of sucks there too. I know they're holding their fans up with the ballpark and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, and if you want to connect the dots, we were talking to David Stearns in August. Their owner was probably leaking to Ken Rosenthal all that P. Alonso news that in reality, they was like, oh, they were close. I think they probably weren't at all.
Yeah.
That's just probably them just getting back. So you can connect the dots there.
Yep. And I understand rich guys get pissed off. They're going to do their kind of stuff. And the best thing is if Steve wants to make it all go away at some point, he'll just give Alonso that monster deal and he'll come back. No problems at all. And the favorite thing I saw in that Athletic, and I sent it to you guys, they said, Stearns loved Kevin Elster growing up. He became a fan of Ray Ordonez, and he was brokenhearted. I think his first Met game, Dave Magadan hit a walk-off, and he was sad that the games were over. And anybody that's throwing around Kevin Elster, Ray Ordonez, and Dave Magadan is a man after my heart. Kyle, you said it best. What was it? Shared pain or something? Shared trauma.
If you got shared trauma to the Mets, I will gladly take you onto this team because you know the pain, you know the hurt, and all the years of misery. And he's going to do everything in his power to try to turn this around. And that's the same thing with Steve. When you got a guy who's a fan and it's not just a business, they have that emotional connection. That's all I'm asking for. As long as he doesn't make emotional decisions, I know at the end of the night, he's stuck staring in his bed, staring at the ceiling because he wants this team to win no matter what. And that's how we as fans think too.
And he's basically got a year off as an advisor, so he's recharged and ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I imagine this shit grinds you up, right? All the work and probably goes into it. So having a year where he's a little
being a fan grind keeps you up. Can you imagine actually controlling this shit?
Oh man, and then doing it for the Mets. That's I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, basically. So yeah, that's some great points right there. So I'm excited about it. Now, you guys raised it in the chat. The thing is, it's been going on so long that if they don't get him, it's going to be another ha-ha moment, or if they do get him and the Mets go 1-2 in their opening series next year, it's gonna be David Stearns, what a piece of shit. It'll be more so our own play.
You know we play in our opening series next year, the Brewers.
Oh, oh god, it's already written on the wall. I'm going to responsibly hammer the Brewers now.
It's going to be the Mark Canna show for sure.
If he has a club option for $10 million, the Brewers may not pick him up. You don't know. That's expensive to them.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole new world, and I saw a lot of people saying like he's the perfect fit in terms of as a fan of the Mets, kind of the way he thinks about building stuff. They said the fucking Andrew Friedman word, but then you're like, oh, here's the Dodgers 2.0, except maybe we actually win some real World Series. There's a lot of stuff to get excited about here. Until it happens, I'm not gonna hold my breath, but it does feel like if they don't get him, someone fucked up along the way. And Uncle Stevie, as we learned with the houses, with the artwork, if he wants something, he's going to make sure he gets it unless someone straight up is like, no way, which happened basically a million times with everyone else he wanted as GM, president of baseball operations, and so forth. So
we'll see. He also has them over a barrel for the same exact reason. He could ask for a big fat contract and a lot of power. And sometimes I think that might be the best case in general. Yeah, maybe not the money, but if he's like, this is a dictatorship, I'm coming in, and that's why we're getting rid of these people before he even gets the job. I want a guy with that type of vision.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. 100%. And I do think that it's going to probably piss people off. I do think that this is probably like the best case scenario for Billy Eppler is that his buddy comes in, has the power. Eppler kind of goes to this lesser role or whatever. Kind of happened with the Knicks when Perry was there. Leon came over and Leon was basically the guy. And it's like, Perry, you did a good job. You had a bunch of bozos who were running shit with you back in the day. And the Knicks were perfectly fine under him. Again, if you can criticize Eppler, I think a lot of the moves he's made have actually worked out. We won 101 games last year. Yep. The Marte shit was absolute disaster. The Vogelback thing still does not make sense to this day that he's still playing this season. But the Verlander, Scherzer moves, everyone agreed to them at the time. The guys who were also free agents, like Rodon, would be an absolute disaster here. The fact they got out of the Correa deal before they signed it, the Rocker stuff, Kumar Rocker, all that kind of stuff. I think he ends up kind of winning in the end. Actually, was that even Eppler?
Rocker was the guy with the DUI.
Yeah, the drunk guy, the pervert. I mean, it's been a lot of fun in our bit. So hopefully Stearns gets that kind of he settles the rockiness here in New York.
I'll tell you what Eppler's going to do when Stearns takes over. Stearns is going to go get him a house in Japan, and he can just scout all those guys over there, like, what was it, Yamamoto, and there's another one, like a 30-year-old. Eppler's really going to find Japanese talent.
Yeah, and there's another guy as well, and then obviously Yamamoto. And at this point, I'm not even gonna get my hopes up about the Ohtani stuff. I guess we could just talk about this real quick. I mean,
the body double.
The body double is an all-time fucking moment. Let me see if I can pull up. Let's see if I can pull it up here for the people that didn't see it on the YouTube channel. The Angels had themselves the team picture day, obviously, and they throw in a body double for Shohei Ohtani. And it's just one of the funniest visuals you're ever going to see. It's just this random white dude wearing number 17 with a look on his face being like, please, God, I hope no one gets a hold of this. And only the Angels could get caught doing this, right? It's like them or the Mets. And then there's this dude just – I mean, they might have just got Darren Erstad out of retirement. Wasn't he number 17 on the Angels back in the day? I think they just threw him in the picture. And the fact they had him rocking, like Shohei Ohtani should be the Angels team picture. The actual Shohei Ohtani should be the Angels team picture. And instead there's just this bozo doing it. Most Angels thing ever. I'm going to miss them kind of deflecting all the LOLs from us and all the other joke franchises like the White Sox. So shout out Artie Moreno for running his team like an absolute bunch of jerks. But Eppler, I think I said this last episode, Eppler could wear the hell out of a kimono. And we never learned, if you could say if guys wear kimonos. I looked it up, Phil. Men do wear kimonos in Japan. There's a little fun fact for you as well, Kyle. So I could see Eppler going in. He has the sunglasses on, rocks the kimono, maybe gets us some free agents here. So David Stearns coming in. I think that's the guy. Is there anyone else that's even on the radar that you guys would want? Like, I know Theo was our guy once upon a time. That's not happening. I don't really see anyone else. Phil, have you heard anything on the interwebs?
Nope.
So it's David Stearns. Stearns or bust, essentially. And this guy, CD, just said, did Stearns screw the Brewers, trading that top prospect for Cannon, knowing he was heading to the Met front office? I don't think he has his hands really on the prospects. I think they know what's going on. But if anyone picked his brain, if he was like, yeah, sure, that guy's going to suck, that would be pretty sweet. I just think everyone, if we know it, the Brewers know even more what's going on. So David Stearns, hope he's here. Take Uncle Stevie's money. You know who else took Uncle Stevie's money? Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, and everyone involved in the TGL. The TGL. What is the TGL? It's the Tech-Infused Golf League that I didn't know existed until this morning when word went out that Steve Cohen bought a team. I'm reading from the ESPN article here. There's the Fenway Sports Group has a team. Arthur Blank in Atlanta has a team. Serena and Venus Williams have a team with Giannis in LA. And then our boy Uncle Stevie has a golf team. And basically, I'm trying to figure out what exactly it means. I guess it's going to be primetime games, probably have some cool like Apple Plus data technology that all the golf heads will love. And as someone that is looking for a reason to get into golf, because even the players I knew like 5-10 years ago don't even like matter anymore. It's just nice to have a reason to care. Phil, are you in on this?
I guess I have to be. I don't have a choice.
Good answer, Phil. Good answer, because you'd be an enemy. How about you, Kyle? You ready to fucking get fired up? We listen to the Foreplay app, Foreplay pod every single Monday or whatever.
I am currently watching the hype video on the Tech Golf League, and it is mini golf from what I can gather. It's an indoor tech-infused league where I guess it's like pitch and putt. It seems like that's the case. There's like rafters with lights and like the floor's moving and shit. So like I think that it's like a shrunken down version where they're just going to get highlights after highlights, and it's going to be like made for social clips essentially.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm down for that then.
So I can't really gather. It's one of those things where it's like kind of like Firefest, where the hype video is probably going to be better than the actual product. But if he's buying into it and you're getting all this money and it's like the next frontier of people wanting to watch golf and make it exciting, like this could be slam ball for golf.
So it says Stadium Golf League, which I'm guessing. So does that mean Citi Field is going to be like a host of it, or
it looks like it'd be more like arena golf?
Arena golf,
or like they're building it kind of like for, like they have like the video game stadiums now.
Yes. Yep.
TGO players will tee off into a giant simulator that measures 64 feet, 46 by 46 feet, roughly 20 times the size of a standard full swing golf simulator. So they tee off like that, and then there's a short game complex where the players then transition from the simulator to a one-of-a-kind short game complex where they are taking the virtual golf and then making it actual play on this field. It sounds like some basketball type shit.
Yeah, this sounds wild. Now, like you guys said, if Stevie's involved, though, it has to be good. Like, it has to at least have a chance to blow up. I don't think he's investing money. As long as they have orange and blue on the team logo, I'm in, because that's our guy. Yeah, it's in partnership with the PGA Tour TGO. 6 teams of 3, 15 Monday night matches, first of its kind, tech-infused venues, tees off January 2024. So, I'm in. Everything golf is good. You just look at the way the 4-point. There we go. We got some nice graphics here on the YouTube. Everything that basically golf touches on the internet blows the fuck up these days. The 4-play guys are basically like fucking rock stars. They're in video games now. So if I can have a reason to care about golf, I'm fucking in. Fusing advanced tech and live action full swings. Oh my God, this is fucking wild, man. I don't know. This is breaking my brain here. So we're all fans. Hopefully they have like a team name or something like that to like, you could get like gear, kind of like a baseball team or something. Farmer Phil, anything else from the minors that I need to know about, or basically just last night I know not only was Acuna on, but I think Parada hit a home run.
I think Ryan Clifford had an RBI ground out. So, situational hitters. That's good to see. Yep. And Jet Williams is just really good. So, and if we didn't have our sell-off, he'd be our only top 100 prospect as opposed to like the other 3 or 4 we got.
So there you go, folks. Listen, it was a tough season. Trust me, the guys who had a podcast about this season at least 2 times a week, if not the occasional emergency pod, which was very rare because this team sucked so much. This was a tough year, but we're almost done with it. At this point, we get to kind of have nights like last night where we're dancing on graves and watching all of our young boys rise up, our little babies grow up right in front of our eyes, whether it's in Flushing or in the minors. I kind of wish I went to Hartford now to see the Yard Goats play against the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, just to see these guys grow up. But at the end of the day, enjoy the times now. Don't worry about the past and look towards the future. Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.